Hello, and welcome to Newgrounds Radio Graffiti. Today is our 23rd show with esteemed guest, FERCI, aka @Neef525 on Twitter.com. Welcome to the show, FERCI.
Hi, yo. Hi, Gens. What's up?
Yeah, okay. So I'm really excited to have you on. We've been talking about getting you on the show for how long has it been that I've
It's been a solid couple months since we first brought it up.
Yeah, I was like, okay, do you want to go on the show? And you were like, wait, I got stuff to do first. And I'm like, okay, I got you.
Yeah, I'm just running around doing a million things, and it's just really hard to find time and place for something like this, you know?
Yeah, but
very jittery. Yeah.
Glad to have you here. For anybody listening who's never heard of FERCI before, FERCI has made a phenomenal short film on YouTube called Learning to Float, and I highly recommend you guys check it out whenever you can. You can even watch it in the background of us talking right now. All you gotta do is search Learning to Float and FERCI, FERCI on YouTube, and you'll find it immediately. I think it's one of the first few things that shows up.
Wait, really? I hadn't really checked that. That's cool.
Whenever I search on YouTube and I go on YouTube and I search your name, FERCI, I just type FERCI and your stuff comes up first.
Oh, awesome! Let's go! I'm coining that term now. Let's go. It's my name. Yippee! I'm glad. I hadn't even checked. But yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Oh, continue.
Yeah, the only thing that happens is just whenever I click on your profile page, it goes to your shorts first and foremost. It doesn't even go to your videos first. So yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, I think it's more of a YouTube problem though, probably.
Yeah,
I don't know.
YouTube's kind of odd. It makes it tough to find.
Yeah, I'm not really well versed on YouTube. I've had the account where I uploaded the film. I've had that account since I was a little baba, just because that's the account I've had since I was a kid, you know. Then I actually the email and everything. So I just and I only really started using it for the film. I think I tried to upload a few videos when I was younger, back in the animation meme era. I would try to do animation memes and I uploaded them there, but then I deleted them. But this film was been the first proper use I've given to that channel in a really long time. And I don't know, it makes me really happy to see it be so successful, because I really thought YouTube would be my thing. It still isn't, but it's it's so nice to have it as another platform where I know people will be watching my stuff and I can just upload stuff there as an archive or something. I like that.
Yeah. I don't know, have you been able to monetize your film at all on YouTube?
I have. It is monetized now. We had to figure out a couple kinks with my compositor, because he gave me the written how do you say it? He gave me the written permission to
consent.
Use the music, the consent to use the composition he did for the film on the YouTube channel, but then the distributor green flagged it. Red flagged it, and I had to go back with him and be like, hey, they did this. But then it cleared up in a couple days. That was the only major issue we really faced. But yeah, it's monetized right now. It took a little while to get it done, just because it was just my first time doing it, and it needs a lot of things. But it's monetized now, and I'm not planning on relying on that money at all, just because YouTube is finicky. But it's good to have that going in the background. I think about it and yeah, I'm I got a little thing running in the background, so little cushion in case anything happens, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of nice that for some people that could happen. I remember I used to live with somebody, and they said their YouTube video got them grocery money for the month, essentially.
Ooh.
Yeah. No, it was very interesting. I was like, huh, I didn't know YouTube could be useful like that.
Yeah, no, me neither. I didn't really know how the whole YouTube monetization thing worked right until I was looking up for this film, because what happened with the film is that I uploaded it on YouTube as if nothing. I went and I uploaded it, and it was whatever. But then my little YouTube studio thingy was telling me like, hey, you have enough hours on your of viewed video time that you can monetize your channel. Hooray! And I was like, okay, I guess I'll do this, and I started doing the processing for way back then. But if not, I wouldn't have done it just because like I have no idea how like any of this works really.
Yeah, I mostly just have like my radio show on
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, just posting like the VODs, or like not the VODs, but like the interviews on there. And I'm not really getting monetized off that because I put up a lot of like music that I like that's like
Mm-hmm.
I cannot like claim any ownership to.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm like, I don't care. I just want people to be able to like learn and like, hear what their favorite artists have to say or anything like that.
Oh, awesome.
But
Yeah, no,
yeah,
that whole like music thing always bumps me out because like if there wasn't the music copyright, if it wasn't that complicated, I would love to do like some animation to like certain music that I really like, but like if I were to upload it, I would have like no way to monetize off of that. And I don't know, like when you probably get it that like
yeah,
when you're living as an artist, like everything you do needs to be profitable in some way, shape, or form. And if it isn't profitable in any way, shape, or form, then like it shouldn't be prioritized simply because like you would be doing this, but then you would like not get anything out of it. Maybe not immediately, and maybe never.
yeah,
And like if that happens, you can't really like spend that much time on something just because like well you gotta work, you gotta work, you gotta focus, and you can't really like do things that aren't gonna breed anything else really often.
yeah.
It kind of sucks, but yeah.
It's tough to find the free time for passion projects like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And hint, hint, nudge, nudge to anybody listening. If you got an artist that you like and you really want to see their projects go through, support them. I think recently,
If you have
like,
like
yeah,
oh continue, sorry.
no,
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 continue.
okay, okay, but like, like Speedo, like
Speedo. Oh, like the
the
artist.
yeah, the guy that does
Okay.
Go Go Punch Forever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, Speedo has a bunch of supporters, and like, even with all those supporters, it still takes a long time for like animations to come out. Is the thing. So
Yeah, no, that's also the thing that like really it's really tricky about animation. Like when you're like the only animator, like you're not working with a studio, you're just like one indie guy. It's gonna take forever to get anything done. Even with the support, it's just gonna take as long. It's gonna take freaking forever just because like animation is so time consuming. Like the only reason studios are able to crank up like so many movies and so many shows once a year is because like they got like whole ass teams working on it. Like I know TVA shows they have like pretty they don't have like their crews are not that big, but it's obviously more than one single guy sitting in a chair like drawing under desk. It's definitely much bigger than that, and that's why production goes so fast. But when you're trying to get anything indie to take off, it's really hard to get that momentum if you lose it, you know?
yeah, I'm thinking about Worthy Kids too, and everyone's like, "Yeah, look at Worthy. Worthy's able to do all this by himself." I'm like, "Yeah, he's got his system.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's tough
Like
to get that system for everybody else."
it's really, really hard. There's like not that many people that have been able to pull it off. I think like some of the newer people that have been able to pull that off are like Joel. Um and then like some I'm trying to think. What are like some well Vipsy Pop obviously
Yeah.
has been able to pull it off
Shout out to
with flying
Joel.
colors.
Shout out to Joel, the guy that runs Enna. For anybody listening on YouTube.
Yeah. My friend Joel. Hola Joel. But yeah. Um I those are like my two main references for this type of thing just because like I've had like I worked on Haspin and I've been helping out Joel and Anna for like a bit now. I've been like doing animations for him and the game, and I just like know how that stuff works, you know, like it's kind of like in my environment, in my like immediate network, like my media circles, but it's still obviously super complicated.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how Joel runs on Enna, or how he gets everything like working for that.
Yeah, it's like not for me to tell, but
Yeah, That's right.
It's
Joel,
obviously
I'm
like
coming
a
for
bunch of
you.
like it's obviously like a bunch of like Patreon stuff. If you, for anyone listening, if your favorite artist has a Patreon, please please subscribe to their Patreon. I'm putting my own Patreon together right now, just because like it's like one of the like simpler ways for people to support you frequently and consistently. And if you happen to have any projects that you're working on, like long form like projects like a comic book or a film or a video game or maybe a board game or whatever, like Patreon is probably like the best and easiest way to get more consistent funding aside from something like a Kickstarter, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's really interesting thinking about all this stuff after making an indie film, you know?
Oh, speaking
Like,
of, for learning to
yeah.
float, just to go back, thank you for talking about it. But how long did it take
Mm-hmm.
you to work on it? I remember that was like your like thesis film in college, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it was my thesis film at SVA. But the thing with all of that is just because I had to work around the school schedule,
Mm-hmm.
kind of. It just like that. Just kind of like the whole production revolved around the fact that we had to work on a school schedule, and I was still in school, and we had to work around it. There was like no way of getting rid of the school part when it came to this production, so I just kind of had to work around it rather than get rid of the problem, and that dictated a lot of how I directed the production,
Yeah.
especially when it came to animation and style. I kind of like thought of the animation style and the background style and like everything else with the in mind of like this has to be done as humanly fast as possible. Like this has to be done. Like we need to cut corners. We cannot spend too much time on a single thing because if not, this film is never gonna get done. Because for SVA it's really weird because we're they expect us to work on our thesis film like the summer before senior year, and the summer before senior year I remember like a lot of things happened to me, and I wasn't able to really just put a lot of work on it. Like I remember I went to the Goblins summer program that summer, and I had like a bunch of other stuff. I went back home to Peru for like a family thing. It was just like it was a mess, and so I just didn't really have time to work on it over the summer like I was originally supposed to. So when I came back to school in August, I was faced with the question of like what am I gonna do for my thesis, and Ray explained this a little bit in the art book because we put a little art book together for the film. But
Oh, do you have that art book in your
I
store? Or no?
the art book is not available. It's not available directly on my store, but it's on my Coffee. I can send you a link for that if you want to put it on the YouTube.
Yeah, I will.
But yes, on the Coffee. But if I once I like, because right now we're like trying to see if it's possible to have physical copies of the art book, and if that does become possible, then it will be available for to buy on my store Taskikuri. Um, but as I was saying, like August came and I wasn't really able to think of something for my thesis for SVA, and the teachers were mad at me, and so I went back, and originally the idea for learning to float sprouted into existence on my third year in college, and because we were supposed to come on third year at SVA, we were supposed to come up with a pitch for a group film that we were supposed to do in our class for one semester. And I came up with the original pitch for Learning to Float, which was a little dragon, selling fish, a fishmonger dragon in a human town. And back then it obviously didn't get picked up, and then so I shelved it, and then in August, fast forward August 2022, I just re-picked up the idea and I reworked it a little bit more, and that's kind of like how the film ended up existing. It was that original little idea I came up with in the third year of college that I just brought back in my senior year, and I like took it and ran, and I made that film. And I think, and because of that, like in August, that's kind of like when I really started all the pre-production, and like I did the layout and the animatic and all of that. And I think if I'm correct, production for the film was 100% done by like mid-April. of the following year, because at SVA we were supposed to have like the school cut ready by the end of March, but then they gave us until mid-April to get like the super final like version of the film done. And that was around the time I like composited everything and I put together the credit sequence, and after that the film was done. So
Yeah.
essentially it was a little bit from like August, if we're counting pre-production, till mid-April. So that
Like
was
8 months.
yeah, eight-ish months. And then I remember animation, the production for animation started way back in I think I started animating for Learning to Float in November, and I finished most of the animation by February. Just because once again, because I was working with a school schedule, I realized I didn't have time to direct an animation team at all. Like if I tried to direct 15 different animators to animate certain shots, while I was like directing everything else on top of school, I realized I would have like lost my mind. I would have gone insane. So I just decided to animate almost entire film on my own. Towards the end, there were a few shots that I called in my buddy Andy Dynamo Tune to animate like one shot for me, because I was like, Andy, man, if I have to animate this shot right now, I'm going to collapse and decompose into the floor immediately.
Yeah,
And
that's animation.
yeah, like it got to a point in senior year where I was like, guys, I almost fainted on the way to class today, and it was like, no way, me too. And I don't know, it's just like it was just a lot, and I just needed help. And Andy helped me out with like one shot, and then I had a few other animators that did effects for me. But then everything else was animated by myself, and that film was around 4 minutes, and I also composited everything. That was a lot. Most of the help was there for cleanup stuff and background art, but it was still a lot of work. Super proud of like everything, like how the film ended up looking, and like the team that helped me out. Basically, the team was there to help Percy not lose her mind over this project.
I feel that. How was it like
Yeah.
organizing people for cleanup?
For cleanup, it was actually pretty nice. I didn't have them as many issues as I thought I would have. But also a lot of the way of how I handled the teams and the other artists that helped me out in this project were sorry, I have a little bit of a cold, so like my throat, I need to keep clearing my throat.
You're all good. You're all good.
I I think I got like most of the ideas of like how to handle all that from like the other stuff that I've like been helping out on, that I helped out on before I started learning to float. Like before I even started making my thesis film, I had already helped out on a few projects. I think let me think what projects I had done by then. I had done Villainous. I had done
Oh yeah,
I
you
was on
worked on
Villainous.
Villainous. Dang.
I was on Villainous like a while ago. That was like, yeah, that was a while ago. But I was
Just
on
do a quick
Villainous.
explanation. Sorry, like just do a quick explanation for Villainous for people. It's a Latin
Oh,
American
Villainous.
cartoon. Yeah.
It's a Latin American cartoon, developed by a Mexican studio, and it's about villains, and they have like, it's like their own little cartoon, but like focused on the villains. And it's like this guy Black Hand. He kind of sells gadgets to villains to solve villains' lives, and he has like his little cohorts that follow him around, and he's like the most evilest guys of all time. But yeah, it was that was a Cartoon Network show. I was on that like forever ago, but I had done that. I had done Enna, and I had done Pee. And Pee was probably like, once again, shout out to Julia, shout out to Miss Jewel for like just like, didn't teach me directly, but just like I learned a lot on Pee, because Pee was once again another thesis film from a year before me, that also had a very large team of animators and background artists and cleanup artists, everything divided um, up nicely in teams. And I took a lot of inspiration from PP to organize everyone. So I remember like the cleanup people had to clean up the keys on each shot first. That would get approved, and then everything had to be cleaned up, and then that would get approved, and then it had to be colored, and then that would get approved, and then like just color everything and export. and send me the files. And that was kind of how we went about everything.
Yep.
And then after that, I just kind of fed all the files to After Effects, and I did my little compositing wizardry in there towards the end, but that was all me.
Oh, you did compositing for PP also?
Oh no, I didn't do compositing for PP. I'm now talking about my film. I'm not talking about PP anymore.
Got you.
But for PP, was kind of like the same, but obviously, a lot longer. PP had a longer production time and also a much larger team. But yeah, no, like a lot of like the way of how I handled the team for Learning to Float was directly inspired by how PP was handled. And also, another detail that should be mentioned is that a lot of the Learning to Float team were people from the PP crew, people from the original PP team that I befriended during production. And then when time came to make my own film, I like hit a bunch of those people, and they were like, I was like, hey, would you like to help me out on this? Or they just like directly reached out to me or volunteered through the original Google form I put out. And so a very big chunk of the Learning to Float team were people from the original PP team. So shout out to the PP team for helping out your friend Fercy for the film, and also just like sticking together through a bunch of projects, because I love working with these guys.
Yeah. Super talented people working all throughout.
Super talented people, yeah.
Yeah, but
some
you said,
I met some really good artists working on PP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said the way how you handle production is you develop your working files first, and then you hand them off to people. Then you wait for approvals.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So like the way it would be handled, the way I handled the files specifically on this on the production was like, it was very like situation specific, because once again working around the school schedule. And also because it was like a volunteer project, I wasn't expecting anyone to pull all-nighters or to like work 24/7 on my film. I really didn't want to like cause that inconvenience to people. Like if I accepted people into my team, it was gonna be completely for voluntary work, so I didn't want to force anyone to do anything.
Yep.
So a lot of the pipeline was developed because I'm the only one handling everything up top, and I just wanted to have people to like cause people the least amount of stress possible for the film. I didn't want people losing sleep over this film. And also, like, the other big thing that affected how I handled the files in this film is that I was the only main animator on the film. So that meant that my storyboards I didn't really have to spend too much time on the storyboards, because I was gonna be animating everything myself. So I didn't really need for my idea to translate well onto like plain paper for anyone to so that anyone would understand it, because like I was gonna be the only one working on that, so I didn't really spend that much time on my storyboards. And then because I was animating everything, I just like prepared the file myself as soon as I finished animation. I handed it off personally to the cleanup artist. I uploaded it to the Google Drive, and I would like upload all the details into a spreadsheet that I set up for my team.
Nice.
But yeah, no, and then once that the cleanup was done, I would get the files handed back to me with the correct exportation settings, and then I would just like import all of that into After Effects and do post-production.
Got you. I'm very curious, like, what part of the process takes you the longest?
That's really hard to say, because every single part of the process was super long.
Yeah.
So I really think there's like a part was like, this is like the easiest part, guys. It's gonna be so fast. Like when you're making your own film, it's gonna feel like none of the parts of production are gonna be long. Like none of them are gonna be short. It's gonna feel like that. But I think looking back, I feel like the longest part of production definitely was the animation, just because I was doing it on my own, and like animation is already a super time consuming thing to do, and if you're making it for a film, you're on a deadline, so it can get super stressful.
I feel that.
But something that I can tell you certainly though, the shortest production like bit was definitely post-production, compositing.
Yeah.
I didn't really do much fancy things for the compositing, but I would be working on like multiple shots, multiple scenes a day. So like it definitely took a lot less time than animation and cleanup and all of that together, just because like I think I did the biggest bulk of compositing in the final 2 weeks of production
I
of
feel
the
that.
film.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite bit too. It's just like it's a nice treat at the very end of the process where you're just like,
It's a very nice treat because you get to like set everything in like the super fancy layers and add the textures and like add the shading and the special effects and put the glitter on top basically of
yeah.
the animation process.
For me personally, the part that usually takes me the longest is actually backgrounds.
Ooh, okay, yeah, I think I would agree with you on that situation. Like I didn't really like spend that much time doing backgrounds on learning to float because like the biggest bit of help for learning to float apart from the cleanup crew was my backgrounds team, and they are the ones that made the film beautiful. Those guys, they're fantastic artists, and I was really thankful the little guide I put together for them um was understandable, and a lot of the work they were putting out in like their first go was like exactly what I wanted. So I didn't have to like worry too much about that. Like of course I was still directing it, but like I didn't have to split my time on animating all the scenes and doing the backgrounds. I could count on my team for that. I'm still super grateful that I could like take that advantage.
Yeah, because when you're working, like, imagine your film is like 100 plus shots, and then you gotta do
No.
all those backgrounds.
Yeah.
Oh.
Also, when because you and I we're not background artists. Like I can draw you a background and it's gonna be decent and it's gonna be good, but it's not gonna be the best that it could be. Like I'm not the biggest wise man on that
Yeah.
area.
No, I can draw good backgrounds, but good backgrounds take a long time to do.
They
That's
take
the
a
thing.
long time. Yeah.
And oh boy, I wish I had a bunch of background artists
Mm.
because yeah, that's a part of the process that's just it takes a deceptively long amount of time because if you really want a
Yeah.
background to look good, you gotta like fine tune that thing like crazy.
You really do. I'm always scared of doing backgrounds because like I'm not a backgrounds artist and I want certain things to look excellent and some things I can't make them excellent. Like that's a weakness that I do admit it to myself is that like I'm when it comes to animation, if I'm making like my own film, I would very much rather have someone else do the backgrounds that isn't me. Just because like it's not my specialty. I don't really like I feel like I could have fun doing a background, but it's not gonna entertain or like stimulate me as much as if I was like storyboarding or animating a shot. You know,
Yeah, I feel you.
I would not be happy basically.
But yeah, how long did the storyboard, like the pre-production process, take you?
I that's also like just really hard to give a proper like length in time for just because like I revised the original storyboard animatic a lot of times. Like there are a few times with like where I already started doing production with other people and I realized something about the storyboard and I had to change a couple of shots super late in the game. Um like the first logged version of the animatic did not have the final one of the final scenes with the money shot of the dragon spinning around in the like limbo. And
Yeah.
that shot originally didn't exist. That was like a super last minute idea of mine. And then another like the third act of the film was completely different as well. The third act of the film and the money shot went into a lot of change super deep in the game, and so I don't really think there's like a way I could like properly quantify until when I was doing what. But I think it's safe to say just because like I started animating late October, November, that's around the time when like I got around to like the more final version of the animatic until I changed those last few things towards the end. You know?
I'm curious, like what did you had originally for the third act?
I mean, I had around the same thing, just like the paneling of all the scenes was different, And then originally the money shot scene where the dragon has like a panic attack, that was like completely different, and he didn't go into the limbo. It was just like it was just him in the real world having a panic, like an actual panic attack.
Got you.
But the main reason why I changed it is because I think at some point while I was rewatching the animatic, I realized there wasn't really like one scene where you could say like, okay, this is the scene where I'm gonna spend whole days animating and it's gonna look super good and everyone's gonna be like, wow, that scene is really cool looking. I didn't really have a scene like that. And I
Got you.
realized I was almost even bored at my own film because it didn't have like a cool scene like that. And I was like, damn, I gotta step up my game and like add a cool looking scene that I'm gonna have fun animating and I can like
That's
show
very
off and like
interesting.
just
That's so funny because like the way how I operate with like any story that I work is I think of the money shot first, like the climax, like the big moment. I think about like what am I gonna do for the visuals here, and then I build a whole story and narrative around that to like justify it happening.
I see.
But it's very
No,
cool that
I
like you came out and like you were like, you know
yeah, it
what?
was like the reverse.
Well, something needs to happen here. I can't have my film just be like a dude selling fish and have
Yeah,
a
no,
panic
something
attack.
cool needed to happen. Yeah, I don't know. I always just like I needed something that I could like sink my teeth into for the film that I was like, okay, this is like gonna be really complicated, but it's gonna be so much fun to pull off. And that's how that like scene that ended up happening. I remember I stayed up I took a break from work and I stayed up hanging out with my roommates till super late that day. And then I came back into my room and it was like full of ideas. And I like sat down and I thumbed out the whole thing on Toon Boom. And I emailed my thesis advisor, Chrissy. I emailed her, I was like, Chrissy, I came up with something so cool. I sent her the file. And then on class, she like looked it over. She was like, "Yeah, I think you should continue with that." And I was like, "Yes," and I did. And it ended up like looking super cool, and I'm still really proud of that.
Yeah, no, it's a very nice like set piece for the whole film that ties it
mm.
all together, and then like it's a nice cut to black too for the final reveal with the other dragon person.
Yeah, because originally he was just gonna pass out, and then the other like dragon was gonna wake him up, and there was like not gonna be a limbo scene, and that would have all just like none of that would have happened.
Yeah,
And then I like added this scene, and that's like how the film ended up coming out.
I kept talking about production stuff. I forgot to even like discuss like, hey, what was your film about? You know what?
No, no, I get it. I also forgot. I was like, it's fine. Well, do you want me to explain what the film is about?
Yeah, give it a like short like explanation for people watching and
Okay,
listening.
so for people that haven't watched the film, so my film it's called Learning to Float, and it's about this little dragon. He doesn't have a name. He's like the little blue dragon, call him Blue, and he gets kind of like he moves into the human town, but in the human town, he isn't really well liked because he's like this like 2 meter tall, big ass dragon. Big inspiration for like his design was the original Godzilla suits from like the original 70s Godzilla films in black and white. Like
Um,
the big bulking suits that people had to like wear for that.
you know he
That
had
was the main
yellow eyes,
inspiration.
so yeah.
Yeah. That's like the main inspiration. So like if you're having trouble picturing, just picture like a dude. Like if the dude wearing the Godzilla suit was like an actual creature that just looked like that walking around town, that's just like it's kind of how it is. Just picture that. And so he moves into this human town, but he's having a lot of trouble fitting in because the humans are like really scared of him. He's like a big ass dragon, and just like the film is like him going about his day. And one of the things he wants to do is he has like this little fish store because he's like he's a dragon from the sea, so he can like he goes fishing and he like gets a lot of fish and he like sells it. But he's really his business is like not going well because like none of the humans will buy from him because he's like a monster. But then like the in the I can like spoil the film. I'm not gonna spoil it, but like the ending of the film is just like him coming to terms with like living in this sort of environment and figuring out how to like kind of like adapt, you know,
Right.
and like learn to live again in like an entirely different culture. And like of course just like while I'm explaining this, just to like get it out of the way, this film is inspired mainly because of immigration. I'm not American. I'm Peruvian, and I moved here when I came for college.
Yeah.
And I a lot of like the film is like my experience as someone who like hadn't been to the US in like a really long time, was moving fresh out of my country into a completely new place and meeting completely new people, and just like having to talk another language and having to interact with people not from my culture or from an entirely different culture. So like a lot of that is directly inspired from my own experience.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
the universal immigrant story,
The
essentially.
universal immigrant story, yeah. I wanted to like touch a lot more directly on like the immigration problem. Like I was gonna have to drag in have a bunch of scenes with like messy paperwork and dealing with that, and like just like not understanding what is going on, because what paperwork types of
Here
make
we go.
sense.
Here's the dragon. Here's how he's setting up the shop. Let me go get the paperwork ready. No, it'll be funny.
Yeah.
The film was long enough as is.
No, I know. That's why I removed those scenes, and also like if I had gone and included the paperwork scenes, then it would have broken the no dialogue thing that I had going on through the entire film. So we would have had to animate dialogue, and that would have also just like made production super long, because I don't like animating dialogue that much.
You know,
It's
I
a
feel
pain in the
you.
ass.
I feel you.
Because I cannot listen to music while I'm animating audio, because I have to listen to lip sync. And I'm like, oh, but I want to listen to my music, but you can't, because you have to scrub through the timeline and listen to the audio in the scene to know where the mouth has to move, and it just like it's not nearly as fun. Just
Yeah.
because I cannot listen to my cool music. Yeah.
Lip sync takes a while to do, because like you just have to be like
Takes so long.
going through it, especially if you have like unique mouth shapes and you have to do unique mouths for like every shot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There was no way I was gonna have that with the dragons. I had like my schedule for production was already tight enough as it is. I ended up taking a lot of things out of that film just to like get it done in time.
Yeah, I feel that.
Hmm.
And yeah, no, the way how I discovered you first, and by proxy then afterwards your stuff, was through the Scum House crew actually. Hannah
Yeah,
Daigle, Arnold Gutierrez, Shaggy. Shout out to you guys.
love Arnold. Shout out to Arnold and Hannah and Shaggy. I love them so much. They're so awesome.
For anybody listening, if you don't know Scum House Studios, they're the ones that made Satina. And you can watch Satina on both YouTube and Newgrounds. And I need to give them like the hugest shout out, because like, you know, they're really cool people. I love all the projects that they're working on. They also tend to try and help out a bunch of different artists too. And Satina is just like a very fun show. Very quick on Satina is just like a dad taking care of his demon child because he married the devil, essentially.
Yeah. No, so Tina's so much fun. Like Hannah and Arnold are also just like really awesome, cool people. I'm really glad I met them, and that Arnold introduced us,
Yeah.
because he's very cool. Shout out to Arnold. Yeah.
Yep. Shout out to Arnold. Everyone in like Scumhouse works super hard on their stuff, and it's insane. And they're gonna be releasing a new episode soon enough. Just wait, you guys.
Yeah,
good.
yes, wait, you guys. They're cooking something up in there. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I discovered you through them, and then like we got to hanging out, and then like I was learning about like your film and everything like that, and that's how like that whole bit started to happen.
Yeah,
And
because I remember we also met like before the production for my film even started. Like we met way before that. If I had even thought of it. Yeah.
yeah, no, that's been a while back, like back in like 2020, 2021, 2021. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was around then.
Was it 2021? Okay, because I'm trying to remember, because I remember like the first time I met you was like coming out of one of my classes, and I'm trying to remember like which class it was, just so I can see what year of college I was in. But yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, we've known each other for some time now. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And again, shout out Scumhouse. Love their stuff. Everyone watch their things.
Love Scam House. Go watch Satina. I helped out on the baseball episode that came out a little bit ago.
Yeah, I was just
Or like
showing
last
that
year.
right now on
Yeah.
screen for people that are just trying to watch.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I did some cleanup for Miss Hannah and Mr. Arnold on that.
I gotta interview them at some point eventually in the future. Whenever, like, I'm pretty sure they have the free time too. I just gotta figure out how to schedule that.
Yeah, you really should. They're so awesome to talk to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of the South American animation community, because we were talking about Villainous earlier,
Mm-hmm.
how's it like? How's the South American animation community, just in general for you, since you're participating in it?
I mean, it's just like any other community. We're just a bunch of animators, and we do our own thing. I think like the main thing with the Latin American animation community that I've noticed is like it's very much split between the people that do it as a hobby, as like commission kind of job, and then like the people that actually work in the industry as like animators for studios like Cartoon Network and Marvel. There's like a very clear division, and there isn't like a lot of I don't know, like exploration between both like sides, at least from my perspective, because like sometimes I'm like I meet someone, another like Latin American animator, and I'm like, oh my god, wait, you're like, and I don't know, they're like from Mexico, and they're like, oh my god, wait, you know my buddy like X whatever, and they're like, oh wait, okay, what, like maybe I do. What studio did they work on? And I'm like, they work on like their own stuff. They like have their own thing going on, and
Ah,
like it's just really
okay.
hard. They like don't recognize the names and stuff,
No, that's
and
a
it's just
lot like,
just
yeah,
something I noticed.
that's a lot like the
But
Western
like
scene too.
I mean, not that much. Like here in the States, I see a lot more like animators just like like experimenting with indie, and just like a lot of indie people knowing each other, like, and also knowing other like people that work on studios. At least that's what I've noticed. As someone who doesn't directly work with studios but is also in the scene somehow. I don't know. I feel like I'm in like the really weird middle ground because I've like touched a lot of the projects, but I'm like also just like working in between like a lot of things, you know? It's really, and then I'm also doing my own thing. So yeah,
Got you.
it's kind of like that. Yeah.
And because I know you worked again, you worked on Villainous, you worked on Enna.
Yeah, it's I think, oh yeah, it's Villainous, Anna, Satina, Legend of PP, Learning to Float, my film. Oh, Monkey Wrench, and Spooky Month. Those are also another two that I've helped out on
Oh, I
here in
didn't know you
Newgrounds.
worked on Monkey Wrench.
Yeah, I watched the most recent Monkey Wrench episode. I'm pretty sure I told you. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
my buddy Andy got me into that. Yeah.
shout out to Zerl,
So
because
shout out to Cyril, shout out to Andy. Yeah.
Zerl's like a like really like old head Newgrounds guy. He's been like around for a long time, and I'm glad to see like his projects. Like, this is like his biggest like long form project that he's been like pushing for, and it's really cool.
I see.
Really cool to see it happen.
You know, a lot. Yeah, no, it Monkey Wrench was a very interesting project because like the quality of animation was super high, and then like a lot of the people that were on it are people that I had worked with before as well. So I was just kind of working with my friends. It was very nice, and then it all came out so beautiful. And the episode came out back in near New Year's, I'm pretty sure, because yeah, I'm pretty sure it came out like in December. But I'm still super proud of the work I did on there, and I'm also just like happy Soro like let me join the team, because I don't know, whenever I think of myself as like a really rookie animator, because I really just feel like I just entered the whole like animation scene, and then there's like everyone else has been around for like ages.
I mean, I think everyone's in that position like always, because like whenever you're animating, you're always gonna be learning something new to animate,
Mm,
no matter
yeah,
what. So even if you're like a professional that's been working for a long time, like you're still gonna be like challenged every now and then.
that is true. That's also another thing I like about this field. It's like I'm always like learning stuff. I'm someone that like if I'm not learning something new, like semi frequently, I get really bored. Just because like I don't know, I just get really bored of stuff. And then with animation, it's like it's constantly challenging me. Like I'm constantly realizing that like some things that I thought I could do, I actually can't, and I have to figure out how. And I
Yeah,
needed to do it now. And I just like, and that's like a lot of the back and forth whenever I'm animating anything. it's just like something like that going on in my brain, and it's very nice, like it's super fun, just like problem solving problems in animation and just like thinking of solutions and then just working on it, and then you're like, oh, animation sucks, I never want to do this again, and then you like click play on the timeline and it moves and it's beautiful. It's like the joy of creation.
My favorite bit is actually no, I like the act of doing it. I hate the finished product usually a lot of the time. I'm like, no.
Really.
I'm like, I miss having fun and just trying to figure out how to make things move, because I like that bit of it. But at the end, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to work on the next project. I'm done looking at this. I haven't looked at my own thesis film, and I think, oh god, 3 years, 4 years. I've refused to rewatch that thing. And I'm like,
I see.
I want to.
Well,
work.
I do.
Yeah.
I do get the sentiment about like the not watching the thesis film, because I haven't personally sat down and watched Learning to Float. Like, I don't really do that frequently. I probably haven't done it since last year. Like, the only reason I've done it semi recently is because while I was back at home in Peru for the holidays, I was like going around and showing it to my family. You know how it goes.
I feel
And
that.
I just like had to sit down through a lot of like the watching my film again. But I don't know, it's like, for me, it's like, you know how some actors cannot see themselves in like they cannot see their scenes where they acted in the movie, like in, like, let's say the premiere of the movie is happening and they're in the theater and they like just walk out whenever one of their scenes is going on.
Yep.
I kind of feel that with like my own stuff. Like, I don't know, I feel really weird seeing my own stuff in the big screen. Like,
I feel that.
Learning
No.
to Float is just like, I get very bashful.
When I saw my film go up on the big screen, what I did was I was in the audience. I was in the theater, sitting down in my seat. I put my head to my knees and I closed my ears for like a whole 9 minutes while my while my film was like going on.
That's funny. That's really funny. I think I was on my phone. I was playing Tetris on my phone while my phone was playing on the thesis thing at SVA.
Yeah, that's how it is.
It is how it is. Yeah.
I think
No,
if
like,
other people worked
so-
on my thing, then like I would have watched it just to appreciate everyone else's work. But when it's all my stuff by myself up there, I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm not.
Yeah,
looking
no,
at this.
that's what it gets me as well. Like, when it's like my own stuff, I don't think if they were to put my animation reel on a big screen, I'd just walk out. Because I would be able to see every single mistake. But with my film, like, of course I had like that knee-jerk reaction at first, but then like my team, just seeing everything move was just like so freaking fun. Like, of course I had like seen everything move already, because I was sat on my desk with After Effects open for like a couple days straight. But it's still like nice, like, I remember back then there were like a lot of people cheering and like there were like people clapping, and like that's the only time I've ever been able to screen my film with like that big of a live audience. But it was like, and well I still had like that knee-jerk reaction, and obviously like that sucks, whatever. But it was still like an experience. Like, I still treasure that happened. It's
Yeah.
one of those things.
Yeah,
You don't like them when they happen, but looking back, it's really nice.
Yeah, it's like I'm glad it happened. It's just like, man, it's just I wish I could like look at myself like through an outside perspective, instead of like with
Yeah.
all the things that I know about the project and looking at
Yeah,
it.
literally, yeah. That's it. Yeah.
Because that's why I don't like looking at my finished work, because like I know exactly what went into it, and I've looked at it longer than anyone else will ever look at it.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Because I like every now and then I'm like, man, I wish I could see my stuff the way how other people see it. Like, I want to see like what that looks like, because I'll never be able to experience that.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No.
I want to ask, what got you started in your animation journey in the first place?
That's really interesting, because for me, at least in my case, I've always liked cartoons. Obviously, but like, I always knew I liked cartoons, because like, kids, they all love cartoons. Them kids these days, they all love cartoons. But I loved cartoons, and I never stopped loving them. I think when I was like 12 or 13, I went through a phase where I like stopped watching cartoons just because like everyone was being really mean to me in middle school. But then I just went back because I was like, actually, I don't give a fuck about you guys. You guys like suck. Anyways, like I'm just gonna do my own thing. And I started watching cartoons again. And I remember like around that time was when Gravity Falls came out. And I watched the hell out of that. I love Gravity Falls. It was literally, it became like my favorite show for a solid 3 years. And I remember like I bonded with people at school. I met some of my longest friends, my longest, like, how do you say it? Some of my long lasting friends who I'm still friends with from back from like the middle school, high school days. I still talk to them. Were like the people I befriended because we bonded over watching Gravity Falls. And they're like still some of my best friends to this day. So I have a lot of that show. But I'm very just like I watched it and I would like sit down with my cousins and I would like try to figure out the theories and it was so cool and we like decoded everything and I had a Tumblr and it was like it was the whole rage, you know, like back then when the big cartoon was out and everyone was watching it. I remember from Peru watching Gravity Falls as it came out from Peru was like a whole nightmare. Because in they wouldn't because we were in Peru. We speak Spanish over there. Like they wouldn't release the episode on TV what at the same time as it would be in the States.
Yeah.
So I had to resort to other like avenues to be able to watch the show live when it came out, and it was a headache. But I went through the effort and I got that shit done. I watched Gravity Falls as it came out, and it was awesome. Back then I would have given anything to go back then I remember like one of the things that I wanted to the most was to come to the States and go to Comic-Con because all the other people at Comic-Con also like Gravity Falls and they like cartoons and I would have been able to cosplay my favorite characters. And that type of thing just doesn't exist in South America. At least in Peru, we don't have any of that. And I really just wanted to come to the States to do stuff like that. And I think that's Gravity Falls is like really the show that made me want to be like, okay, this show is like really good. I want to tell a story like this. I want to make people cry. I want to make people feel joy. This story is like so funny and so like heart touching. Really want to make stuff like this. And I just like that's around the time I was like I just started looking into like drawing and art more as like a proper thing rather than like just like a thing I liked, you know? And I started investigating and I discovered other cartoons and then I just like ended up completely getting into it. And yeah, that was like I probably was around 14, 15 when all that happened.
So Gravity Falls was your show, like your special interest show that like pushed you into like pursuing animation. Got it.
Yeah, and like of course it's like that snowballed into me liking other shows. Like after that, I started watching Steven Universe. I started watching a lot more anime. I even watched Avatar: The Last Airbender around that time because I had never been a Nickelodeon kid I had never been a Nickelodeon kid. So I had never like watched Avatar as a kid. It just like it was a thing that was introduced to me through watching other cartoons and through looking at what people were talking about on Tumblr because people would not shut the fuck up about the show. And I was like, I remember it got to one point where I was like, okay, I gotta watch it to see what all the rage is about. And I did, and I liked it, and I think it's fun.
For me, the show that like pushed me because I was studying architecture at the time, and then I was watching Motor City as it was airing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that like reads. That checks out.
Yeah,
it's very Gans.
Yeah, and I saw Motor City. I was like, okay, no, I gotta stop this. I gotta stop making buildings. I didn't stop, but I gotta stop making buildings. I gotta start pursuing animation, and then that's what led me to my journey. But yeah.
No, Motor City is so good. I was actually like looking at some Motor City animation, rough animation shots on my iPad the other day because I sometimes I go through a lot of like animators' Twitters and I download a bunch of like videos on my iPad so I can like study them and go frame by frame. So I just have a lot of stuff saved up in there. It's my little archive of art references, and I had some. I don't know where I got them. I think an old teacher of mine gave them to me because one of my teachers at SVA would always talk about his days working in Motor City and would show us a bunch of Motor City stuff.
Same.
But I have I have a few rough animation shots from Motor City that I found on my iPad yesterday while I was scrolling through everything, and I was rewatching them, and they're so good. Like the animation is just so freaking awesome, and with like the designs, it's just so dynamic. I'm really sad. I like completely missed the mark with this show. Like it wasn't in like it wasn't meant to be, but it's like still something I want to watch one of these days. It's like on my own time.
No, it's the one show that like completely altered like my brain chemistry, and I was like, okay, wait, no, I gotta make something like this, something that's this fun.
I get that.
The whole reason there was a bunch of like car stuff in my thesis film was pretty much inspired by Motor City.
Oh, you put cars in your thesis. You're brave. You're really brave for that.
Cars and cars like
that's crazy.
Driving on the sides of buildings, making like them do insane stuff, and I was like, okay.
Man, this sounds so cool. You should share your thesis.
No.
Sounds really cool.
No.
You're like,
I'm gonna make a better thing. Don't worry.
Okay, I'll be waiting expectantly then. I'll be waiting.
But what else? Oh, I was gonna ask, like, do you have any other like animated projects, like personal projects that you're thinking about in the future?
I mean, I think every animator has like some animator project that is gonna be going on in the future, and 9 out of 10 of those don't make it. But like, I do have my own stuff, kind of like cooking. Like, a lot of the comments on the YouTube Learning to Float are like, oh my god, can you please like make a whole show of this? And I'm like, I want to, I really do, and like it has just like kind of like snowballed into me just like sometimes I'll sit down and now like come up with like new ideas for dragons or for stories, because if anything I would like not directly make it about the same dragons from the film, but like more dragons in this like dragon human world where dragons are like immigrating into human society for whatever reason. I have a lot of ideas to continue the story in like that sense, kind of like as like an anthology of like just exploring the possibilities in this type of like world, like the dynamics. That's like something I really wanna like put those ideas like together properly in my head, and maybe like whip up a pitch bible for it. I don't know, like a lot of my friends are like, you should definitely do it a pitch bible. You should like pitch it and like just have it ready lying around. And I do want to do that. But as most people like, or as y'all may already know, the state of the animation industry right now is like, it's not very good.
Nightmare.
So I don't know, like it's nightmare. But I like it is something I would love to pitch to like studios, and I would love to like, I don't know, like let's say like Sony came knocking on my door, like, oh my god, we love your project, we want to like give you $1 million and we're gonna make it a real movie. Like it would be awesome. But like right now I'm like not really thinking about that. I just kind of like holding my I'm more in the mood of like holding my cards close to my chest and just see what the next move is on like the industry part of things. And then maybe in like 3 years I can think about pitching my stuff and making a full thing out of it. But like if I were to make anything within the next 3 years, it's probably just gonna be on my own. Just like learning to float, like of course not with a team. I really want to make stuff on my own, and I really want to make stuff on my own, so maybe I'll be making stuff on my own with the little dragons, just to like, I don't know, like animation experiments, because I really want to do that.
I've been seeing the gifs that you've been
like,
posting, yeah.
Oh yeah, the GIFs. I've been posting a lot of GIFs from animations from designs for my store that I can talk about more those later. Yeah. But also just like a bunch of really short animations. That is something I really just like want to also focus on, because like I get to work on my animation, I get to experiment compositing techniques and just like different renders for animations. And I also, maybe if I do a good enough job, I can get like reel material, stuff I can put on my reel to like get better jobs. And that's just also something I want to do, but like that's obviously just me like coming up with cool little things to post on Twitter rather than like a whole animation project. If I were to continue with the Learning to Float anthology idea that I have, it would be a much longer production time. It would not be anytime soon. And also, if I were to do it on my own, it would just be like super short shorts for YouTube. And if I like did get it pitched and like it got picked up, then it would obviously like be a show, like as I would love it to be. And well, yeah, that's like the main project, just because like learning to float, people are watching that, people are liking it, so it's like something that I can see myself sitting down in the future and writing more detailed the inner workings of a project that could sprout from the learning to float world, of course.
Yeah.
Then, other than that, there's like I do have one film that is gonna happen. It's gonna happen 100 million% is gonna happen eventually. No promises to anytime soon. But I actually did another film before learning to float. Um, it was called The Dragon, the Witch, and the Phone Helpline. And I'm still super proud of that. You've seen that film. I've shown it to you. I think I've shown it to you.
I remember bits of it.
You've seen the film, yeah. You've seen this film. And it's about a little witch in a world where magic is real and it's common and it's normal. And in this world, witches have like, it's kind of like Uber, but covens work as like these apps on your phone. And they just like, the phone assigns you quests to go on to like become a better witch. And that's just kind of like how covens go. And like it's basically like an Uber Eats service but for witches, and they gotta show up and like do whatever, like complete their mission and go out. And like the story of the film is that like just this rookie witch, she gets glitched in the system and she gets assigned a mission that is way over her ability. And she has to figure out how to like deal with it and survive, and that's just kind of like the film. And this film was completed. It was completed back in this was 2022, like 30-year SVA, and it was around 3 minutes long. And I had like 3 months to make it. I don't know how I finished that film. I had some help for backgrounds and everything, but like everything else, it was me, and it was really hard to make. And I remember I showed up like the final day of production, right before the deadline. I pulled an all-nighter, and I still remember it, that whole week I had only slept one night, because it was the same week all my essays for other classes were due and all my homework was due, and I was just pulling all-nighter like every day that week. And I remember I showed up to that class with sunglasses on because my eye bags were so deep, and I was really embarrassed.
Man, that sucks. Every animation school should just be like Gold Blondes.
Yeah. We watched the film and it was complete, but it was obviously like a very, very rushed job. I had 3 months to work on a 3-minute film. It was not good. And I really like the thing that I want to do with this is I just want to redo it. I wanna go and sit down. I wanna reboard the entire thing, and I just wanna redo the whole film. Maybe making it a little bit shorter. Just because now I know more about filmmaking. I know more about setting up the pace and just producing things as a whole. So I'm really expecting it to like make a better job out of this one, but it's obviously like. I don't have any idea when this is gonna happen. I don't know when I'm gonna have time to sit down and do it. Don't know when it's gonna be finished, for that matter. So don't expect it for anytime soon. But it will happen eventually. You can expect a film from me in the next. Let's give it 5 years. In the next 5 years, That's
a generous time frame.
Yeah, that's why I'm giving myself 5 years. 5 years.
Yeah.
Dragon, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Just a silly Fercy film, because Learning to Float was like a big drama film, but this one, the reason why I really want to make it is because like this one is like my haha funny film. It's like my silly film. I haven't really done a silly film like that since. I really want to make one because Learning to Float is super serious, and that's like I really like that, but I just want to make a silly film.
I think everyone needs silly films.
I love silly films. They're hard to make because like the jokes gotta land well. It's really hard. That's why I was so proud of this one.
Oh, dude, it takes
me. The production was just a mess.
For me, when it comes to like making jokes, is whenever I like write or like develop a joke, I have to be able to laugh at it like for 3 days straight. Like I gotta like be able to say the joke to myself in 3 days in a row. And if I find it funny every day, I'm like, okay, I can go and make this into something real.
Damn, that's harsh. I don't think I can make myself laugh for 3 days at one of my own jokes.
Yeah, I write and I say, I think around like throughout a week, at least like 1,000 jokes to myself. And like out of those, like maybe only like one passes and gets made into something that I laugh at.
Girl, you're insane. That's crazy.
That Dracula Flow short that I made, that like I devoted an entire week to finishing, like that's how it turned up. I was like, okay, what can I do for this that can make it funny? And I was like, okay, this is still making me laugh. I'll do it. But yeah, comedy is tough. Comedy is very tough.
It's so tough. I don't know, like for me it's just been really tough because like another like level of difficulty for me is that like I'm still not the best with American humor. So a lot of my humor is like Latin American humor, like Peruvian humor.
Fuck American.
And so like a lot of times I'll tell a joke like to myself or like I'll tell it to a room and nobody's gonna laugh because they don't fucking get it. It's like Peruvian like humor. And the Americans don't get it sometimes. So like when I'm writing script or like when I'm trying to write a joke, it's always super hard because I have to I'm thinking with a brain that's wired in Spanish, and I'm like I have to think of a joke for brains that are wired in English on a different culture. So like that little wall is just like really hard for me, and that's also why learning to float doesn't have any dialogue because it's really hard for me to write dialogue in English.
I feel that. Even me being used to English for like 2 decades now, it's still tough to think about. But no, this is why you look at the Three Stooges, cause they're timeless. They are the funniest guys forever, of all time.
I haven't watched the Three Stooges in forever.
But they make me laugh every time. They're so funny, dude. The way how they beat each other up, it makes me laugh every time.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like what stuff has always made me laugh and will continue to make me laugh. There's like, I don't know, I tend to be like a very serious person when I'm watching shows. But like there's always like the stupidest thing that shouldn't make you laugh is always the thing that's gonna make me laugh. I have a really embarrassing story actually.
Oh, go ahead.
There was this one time, I think it was the one of the Titmo's 5-second nights. This was a few years ago.
Oh, those are always good.
They're always really good. But here like in the city you can just like show up, and I showed up to one of those, and there was one of the films that they displayed. It was literally just like a PowerPoint presentation, but like they had added like the most extravagant transitions, like animation transitions from PowerPoint to like the text, and the entire film was just like a screen recording of like the text like passing by with a lot of like really really stupid like transitions, and I was laughing my ass off. I was like laughing the loudest in the theater. Like people were looking at me over their shoulders like, what the fuck are you doing? And I just thought it was the funniest thing because like the texts were like, this is a text, this is going on for super long, this is stupid, and it just like kept going on for that for like 4 minutes, and it was like, for me it was like the funniest thing ever.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you ever remembered Inferno Cop by Studio Trigger.
Yeah, I know I haven't watched it, but I know what you're talking about.
Inferno Cop is also something that's like, it's just stupid, it's just dumb a lot of the time, but it gets me cracked up every time. Like I laugh every time I watch Inferno Cop. It's so funny.
Yeah. I love, okay, this probably doesn't apply to Infernal Cop, but I really love watching shows that are bad, like not masterpieces, but not awful. Mm-hmm. They're just like okay, but they're like not good. But they're like silly. I don't know how to explain. It's just like shows that are perfectly in the middle, and they're like corny and badly written and have a really cheap like production value, but they just still make you laugh for whatever reason. There's like so many of these shows, and I'm always torturing my roommate.
Do you have any example off the top of your head?
Right now, me and my roommate are watching this show. It's called like iZombie. It's like a live action show. It's not a
Oh,
cartoon.
okay.
Um,
iZombie, yeah.
and it's just like it's like so stupid. It's like this one show I used to watch in high school, and then I brought it up in conversation with my roommate, and they were like, "Oh, I watched it too," and we were like, "We should do a whole rewatch of the show right now," and we've been rewatching the whole show for like a couple of weeks now.
For the joke, oh my god. Okay.
No, and it's a really bad show. It's like so many of the script is just like it's no masterpiece. It's not a Mona Lisa, but it's Cocomelon. Like you put it in front of you, and you're going to be entertained.
I got an animated series, like an online series that I recommend to you. It's not low budget or anything. Well, it is low budget, but it's not low quality. Is what I want to say. It's called Milk Trucks by Silly Poo, and I need to give them like a quick shout out. I just discovered them like the other week, and they do like this like MS Paint style like animation. Where, like,
oh my god! Please send me that.
Where the characters look like they're animated in MS Paint, but I'm pretty sure they're using like a proper like program. And Milk Trucks is specifically about like these three women that like run a bakery, I think, or like a coffee shop or a cafe, and like two of the girls are like, you know, super cute, like, you know, idyllic like women, and then one of them, like the one that handles the register, her name is Bricky, and she's just like this like fat girl that's just trying to deal with everything, and Bricky is just a terrible employee, and like the whole joke of like Milk Truck is just like Bricky like doing poorly at her job and still trying to like keep everything up, and like everyone else is like getting like, hey, I'm gonna be a manager, and Bricky's dealing with like, you know, Karens and stuff like that. But it's very funny. I need to show you, like, I'm gonna send it to you right now. I'm putting it up on screen so people know what it looks like. But to you, here's just the thumbnail.
Yeah. This style is really funny.
It is really funny. I love Silly Poo. I love Silly Poo stuff, and I especially love Milk Trucks. It's so funny.
Okay, I'll watch it with my roommate tonight then. After we're done with this, we're gonna like go watch cartoons.
Hey, I was on Bridge Kids before anybody else was on Bridge Kids, and like Silly Poo is the next thing. Milk Trucks is the next thing. Is what I'm letting people know.
Arnold showed me once an episode of Bridge Kids and I didn't get it, but like I'll try this one. I trust you. I don't know, I also just like it was a while ago, so I like probably was like doing like my brain was someplace else.
Bridge Kids is a lot of dialogue. I'm not gonna like, you know, mince words, but it's very funny type of dialogue.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think for me, like, the big thing, I didn't get a lot of the slang. Like, they spoke in it was very American, and I didn't get a lot of it. But, like, I'll try again soon.
Yeah, Bridge Kids is a very suburban type of show. But,
yeah.
Silly Poo is just a Silly Poo stuffed Milk Trucks. Man. For people on YouTube right now, just look at your screen and look at what you're seeing in front of you right now. It's hilarious. It just like the character designs and how everything just shifts and changes, and nothing really stays too much on model. And like the girls look like blow up dolls. It's very funny.
I love when things go off model. It's like my favorite thing.
Same. But yeah, no.
Yeah, like the most recent Dungeon Meshi episode. I haven't watched it yet, but like it's so stylized. It's so juicy. I love it.
I gotta check out Dungeon Meshi, like the animation.
You should watch it. Yes.
Because I love the manga, but like the animation is done by Trigger, and I'm like, man, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't read the manga yet. I really need to sit down and read the manga. Like, half of these days I've been waking up and I'll be like, I can make breakfast, or I can read Dungeon Meshi, and I've just kind of like been waking up like that. I really want to finish watching it just because like it seems very much like up my alley. Like I've been watching the anime and it's awesome. I love it. So freaking good. I just need to read the manga. Find the time. Just sit down and read it.
Now for me, it's a lot of I don't sleep at night, so I just that's when I catch up on everything. Because throughout the day I'm just working on stuff. And then then at night, like recently, I just reread Golden Kamuy, the manga.
Wait, I love Golden Kamuy. That was my pandemic show. I watched it during the pandemic.
It's so funny. It makes me laugh every time. I was rereading like a bunch of it, and I was just like, man, this is really good. I love it. Oh,
I love a ship.
when I was rock climbing the other week, like I was
Mhm.
struggling because like I like kind of like tore one of my muscles a little bit, or very early in the
Yeah.
climb. But then like towards the end of the session, I was just thinking like, what would Sugimoto do? And then I was like, I'm Sugimoto the Immortal! And then I just started like doing my climbs better, and I was like, yeah.
You're Sugimoto the Immortal. That's such a good way to like get like how do you say it? Just get the blood pumping to like keep climbing. Little
Yeah, no,
Sugimoto.
that's how it is. It for some reason it helped motivate me,
Mm-hmm.
and then it got me like going through it. It's fun. Everybody listening, anime powers are real. You just gotta think about it. You too can be like
You gotta
Goku.
make yourself believe.
Yeah, you can go Super Saiyan if you believe hard enough. But yeah, I want to go talking about your store right now
Oh, okay.
because like I wanted to say it earlier, and there was a moment earlier where I thought we could go talk about it, but I want to talk about it like right now. So
Mm-hmm.
Taskikuri, everybody listening,
Oh yeah.
if you want to spell it, go to your browser on the very top, type Taskiquri, Taskikuri, or Kuri. That's how you say it.
Mm-hmm.
Taskikuri. But
You're
go type that up on your browser. I'm gonna be putting it in the YouTube like link down below to check it out. You can see a bunch of FERCI'S original like illustrations and designs put on hoodies and shirts and a tote bag, and you also have like a few stickers on here too. Yeah.
There's a few stickers on there. But yeah, Taskikuri's my little side thing. It's a little store. I do all the designs on there, and all the designs are they're the style for the designs is very much heavily inspired by Mesoamerican and pre-Columbian Latin American sculptures and architecture, specifically or especially Peruvian stuff, of course. I base a lot of my designs from cabezas clavas and sculptures from Chavin, and also some moche stuff because that's where my family's from. But a lot of the designs are like inspired specifically on my cultural heritage, and also like to sprinkle it with like a lot of other stuff in there. And I just kind of like I do a bunch of little freaks. I do a bunch of little dragons. I make shirts with them, and it comes out. I print them all myself via silkscreen. Silkscreening, for those who you don't know, it's a printing method that is accomplished by hand. You can do it by machines, obviously, but I don't have those machines. You need a factory. So I do everything by hand. It's using like a little mesh, and you paint through it, and that's how you print the designs on each shirt. I print them all out, and then I ship them out all over the world to their future homes of whoever orders the shirts. And yeah, no, I've been running Taskiguri since last year, and it's been super fun just cause like having to being able to draw and animate stuff that isn't for a animation specific purpose. It's very stimulating for me just cause like I'm someone like surprisingly enough, even though I'm an animator, I'm a pretty active person. I like being active. I like being around. One of the things that I always try to do here, living here, is I try to be out of the apartment at least 1 hour a day. I need to walk around. I find something for myself to do around the city, and I need to walk around and just like do whatever, go out, do errands, and I I like that's like something that's really hard to keep up sometimes just because like once again animation super time consuming. You have to spend as long as you possibly can doing it for it to come out right. So being really active doesn't necessarily affect this doesn't necessarily kind of like work around this lifestyle. So what I do and what I figured out is that like I figured out a way for me to work but not directly on my desk sat down because I have a lot of back problems. So if I sit down, if I animate for like more than a few hours at a time, I will just like start getting horrible backaches. And getting like Taskikuri set up with my store has been a really really good way for me to split my time between labor at my desk animating and more physical labor where I just like run around and I get everything printed and I go to the labs and I bring out my mesh and I use the paints and I interact with real people. It's very much a thing like that because I have to travel outside my home and I have to go to the place where I go to print my shirts, and I have to go to the store where I get my shirt supply, and I have to go through all the silkscreen process. For if anyone listening here has ever done silkscreen printing, you know what I'm talking about. It's like a whole ordeal to like get the design onto the mesh and then print it and then dry it and then heat press it. It's like a whole thing. So being able to get out of the house for a couple days a week to be able to fulfill my store orders and just like do those things like physical labor has been super helpful. Like ever since I started the store last year, my health, overall health has like improved. My back doesn't hurt nearly as often because I don't spend as many hours as I used to at my desk animating, like crouched down shrimping on my desk.
Right.
I don't spend that long doing that, but I still go outside and I do a lot of physical labor just because like silkscreen printing involves lifting the mesh, which can sometimes be super heavy because it's like wood, and then just like carrying shirts from one place to another is like a lot of effort, like physically, and that's just very nice for my body. So it's a very nice stability, a very nice balance between being like sat down and then just running around doing errands, and it's just been really good for my health. And it's also just been really fun because once again, it like being able to design and animate for stuff that isn't destined to be in an animation pipeline and just like my own little advertising projects, it's been like very freeing. Like it lets me think about my art in a completely different way where I would like otherwise not think of it that way, you know?
Yeah, it's nice to break away from like doing the same old with your art and then think about fun stuff, like things that make you happy.
Yeah, because with Taskiguri, like whenever I'm working on a new design, I have to think of it as a design that I'm gonna put on a shirt, rather than as an individual piece of art that I'm making. Because once I'm thinking that it's like, okay, this is gonna go on a shirt, it's gonna be real. I need to print it out. I need to put it on my mesh. I need to pull out the frame. I need to sweep the paint over this. Once I'm thinking of all of that, then the design ideas become clearer in my head. And I also like figure out what I need to do for design to properly work, to be printed properly. Because like sometimes some designs might be too complicated to print out, or you also have to make sure that like it is within the bounds of what's possible with the type of printing that you're making. And in this case, it would be silkscreen. And you have to. I'm not gonna sit down and explain the ins and outs of silkscreen on like this radio show. But you have to keep a lot of things in mind so that your design actually looks good, you know?
Yeah. I'm just curious, how many shirts do you usually like do like in a batch?
It really depends on like, because normally I make shirts to order, like I make shirts once they have already been ordered. So like I normally don't bulk print them before they're sold, mostly because like the cost of the material might outweigh the like amount of stuff that we are able, like the amount of units that I sell.
Got you.
But I'm gonna start bulk printing this year just because like we're gonna start doing live events around, like we're gonna be tabling at actual like in-person real life markets and festivals and whatever. That's something Taskiguri is gonna start doing this year.
Nice.
So it's something I'm gonna start to do now. But let's say if I'm printing for like the Black Friday order, or I'm printing for a festival, then normally I would have to print around at least 30 shirts in a day if I were to like be prepping up for a design, especially because like I have multiple designs, so I have to print multiple of each size in each design and just like arrange all of that. It's like a lot of making sure I have enough of each in each size. It's like a whole deal.
And how long does it take you, like, I'm just curious right now, like, how long does it take to make, like, 30 shirts within, like, a day?
It really depends on the shirt, because, like, once again, the silkscreen, you can make it super hard for yourself, or you can make it super easy for yourself. For silkscreen, one of, like, the main things that I like to keep in mind is, like, the more colors that you have in a design, the longer it's gonna take you to print, because you cannot print more than one color at once on a silkscreen mesh.
Right.
You can only use one single color. And if you want to use multiple colors, you need to have multiple different designs on multiple frames if you want to do it all at once. And then on top of that, it's the added time in between the layers, because you have to let the first layer of paint dry, and then you gotta do the other one, and then you gotta wait for that one to dry. And if you mess it up, then you have to scrap the whole thing and start again. But then for me, I do one color designs, because like I don't want to deal with multicolor designs, pain in the ass, and it's already enough of a pain to like to get shirts like printed out in a certain amount of time most of the time. So like the least amount of stress for me, the better it is. So like that's why I normally stick to single color designs. And so let's say if I were to be printing something with a black paint on a white shirt, then that can be done super fast, because the black paint is like really nice and gooey, doesn't dry easily. It's like acrylic paint, but like it takes a little bit longer to dry. So I can keep the mesh with the paint on it for like a good 15 minutes before it starts drying, like without touching it or anything. But then if I'm printing a white paint on black fabric, then that's like a whole lot trickier, because the white paint, it dries super fast and it's super thick. So like if I leave the paint on the mesh without touching it for like a minute or two, it's like done. I have to wash everything and start again, because like it's just gonna get clogged and the prints are not gonna come out right. So like let's say I had to print 30 black paint on white fabric shirts, one single design, solid color. It would probably, like, the whole printing process would probably take me around 20 to 15 minutes, because like the actual printing is just like using the little swiping thing to like sweep down the paint through the mesh, and then you just gotta like switch out the shirt and put on the next one, and you just like do the same. And it's kind of like one of those chains they use in like factories. It's just like you print it, you pull it out, you put the next one in, you put the next one in, you print it, you pull it out. You just go like that until like everything is done.
Okay, got it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice to know. And you said like that takes you like what, like 20-30 minutes?
Yeah, depending on like the design and like if the paint gets clogged, or like if something is deeply messed up with the screen. Something like if nothing horrible happens, then that's around the time that it takes me to get stuff done.
That's pretty cool. And what made you settle with Big Cartel as like your just like store?
Probably just because like it's the easiest to use. Because all the other, I know there's another big platform that's like the other like big. It's like the main competitor of Big Cartel. It's the other platform that a lot of other artists also use for their stores. That one actually like there's no free option for that one. And for Big Cartel, there is. So that's why I originally went for Big Cartel, because it was like the free option. I didn't have to pay for it for anything. So like eventually I moved on to like the proper paid plan for the website, just because like I wanted it to look as best as it could, and I wanted all the like premium features. But when I was just starting out, Big Cartel was like a free platform. Still is. If you want to like just make your little website, you can do it for free on Big Cartel. So it's like that was just like a lot easier for me, because I didn't have to factor in the cost of a monthly website when I first started, and that just like eased it for me. And then also because like it was the one most of my friends were using.
Yes.
It was like my friends were using Big Cartel, and they're like, "So you should use Big Cartel as well," because I'm using it. I'm like, "Okay, I'll follow you."
Yeah,
and
that's what my friends are telling me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Mm-hmm.
And how would you say like running the store has felt for you so far?
It's been really nice. Because whenever people buy stuff, sometimes they leave me little notes, and they'll be like, "Oh my god, it's like whatever special festivity, I'm buying this for X. Can you like sign it?" And I like will sign prints or whatever they bought. Or like someone will be like, "Oh my god, I'm so excited for this. This is like a gift for like my brother or something." And that's just like it's very heartwarming, you know, like people are buying my stuff as like gifts for people important to them. And I think that's a very nice feeling.
Yeah.
And then I also sometimes get other messages more along the lines of like, "I'm excited to wear this around my job," or like showed all my friends my new favorite shirt. Or like I even get sometimes like people, because a lot of because I animate each of my designs. So a lot of animators end up seeing my shirts, and sometimes they end up buying them. A lot of animators buy my shirts. I've gotten a few messages where they're like, "Oh my god, I'm so excited! I'm gonna wear this to the studio when it gets here. I'm gonna show all my coworkers on the show." And I'm like, "That's just like so exciting, you know? It's like it's really it makes my heart full, it makes my heart warm, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, people are really out there enjoying my stuff."
And if you want to be somebody that enjoys FERCI'S stuff and gets really cool shirts to show off to all your friends and pretend you're a studio person in animation, just like all the other cool people, go to taskikuri.com. That is TASKIQURI.com. Go type it right now.
And
Bye.
If you're watching right now, we have a discount going on, a 10% discount until tonight at midnight. It's the opening weekend discount because the store was closed for most of the winter holiday, just because like I was visiting family back at home. But now I'm back in the States, and I reopened the store on Friday. And so if you guys go on right now, taskikuri.com, there's a 10% discount going on for every single piece of apparel that you buy there. It's going on, and you guys got 1 hour and a half until the sale ends.
You hear that? Everyone that is listening to this live right now will get a discount. People on YouTube, I'm sorry. Better luck next time, everyone.
Sorry, YouTube.
You got to start listening to Radio Graffiti live on Newgrounds if you want to get like good deals like this. 10% off now. Go, buy. You'll get a good shirt. Eventually, I'm gonna get like the tiger shirt because I want that. That's a cool one.
I'm glad you like that one. That one's the bestseller in the store, actually. The tiger shirt.
It's my favorite one.
Yeah, it's my favorite one too. I love it. I want to come up with the next tiger shirt this year. Now it's the year of the dragon. I really want to come up with some cool designs this year.
Imagine if you do one like new for every year, depending on like, you know, the zodiac. So like
this year I just want to do a ton because like dragons are like my whole thing.
Yeah.
But I do wanna do like each of the animals of the zodiac, because that's a very cool thing to do. It's a very cool gimmick, and I've always liked the zodiac. I've always been invested in that type of thing.
No, it would be very hype just to see that happen.
Yes. I'll think about it.
I forgot that you had a print on here.
Yeah, the print is the original dragon shirt that this was before I actually opened the store. Back when I was like learning how to do silkscreen properly, because the way this whole store ended up happening is because like one of my friends, I used to hang out with a lot of fine art students at SVA, and one of them got into they took the silkscreen class at SVA, and they were like showing me like the shirts they were making, and I was like, oh my god, that's so cool, I want to learn how to make shirts too. So in like the following summer, they like would sneak me into the labs, and they introduced me to like all the other like people in the labs, and they taught me how to use the silkscreen and everything, and I just kind of like picked up from there. And then eventually I opened Taskikuri last year through that.
The Golden Lady store.
The Golden Lady store, yeah. Taskikuri means Golden Lady in Quechua, which is one of the original indigenous languages in Peru.
Wow. Now people know what that means.
Yeah. A lot of people always ask me what Taskikuri means, and I'm like, it's Quechua for this. That's it.
And it also has, you have like your own Twitter for Taskikuri too.
Yeah, we have the own Twitter for the store, which is at Taskikuri on Twitter, written the same. I mainly use it for announcements on new drops, and whenever like I reopen the store for whatever reason, or if I like design anything, or if I make a poll for what the next item will be. Twitter's for that. We also have an Instagram. I need to update it, but it's on all social medias. Go find us.
Yeah. You say us. How many people are in Taskikuri?
I say us, but it's really me.
Yeah,
but there
exactly.
will be but I'm actually like I'm actually planning on expanding the team very soon. So that's why like trying to make it habit out of it, you know? Because like it's on the future plans. Because I also like running a company on your own while also having an entire other job on the side is like it's a lot. I need more help.
Yeah, I totally feel that. Well, I'm glad that you're at a
Yeah.
point where you need help. So
Yeah, I need help.
yeah, but yeah, go get Fercy shirts, everybody, so she could hire
Really go
people
get my
to
shirt.
get help.
Yes. If you buy my shirts, you will make me very happy. And you will also let me afford lunch tomorrow.
But yeah, and you also get a
Mhm.
very cool looking shirt on
Yeah,
top
you
of
also
that.
get I personally handprint every single one of my shirts. And I also have a little each shirt, each of the new shirts, they have like a little emblem in the inside bit of it that's like and it has like a serial number for the number of the shirt of the design that it is. So you can have you know exactly what number of shirt it is whenever you get yours. Every shirt is very special and unique. Totally get it.
See, everyone gets a unique shirt right now while it's still
Let's just
hip and new.
yeah. You know, I'm like Taskikuri has been a little pet project for the better like these past couple months. And it's certainly been very fun for like all the reasons I already went through, but it's also just like very nice getting an entirely different skill set that comes from running a company.
Yeah, organizing time management, learning how to ship stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the learning how to ship stuff was like a whole thing for me because I used to be super scared with shipping, but like now it's like now it's not my first rodeo. I know how to do it properly now. It's quite awesome.
Wait until you have to ship 300 things at once.
Oh, I've gotten very close.
Oh, really?
Very
Oh my
close.
god.
Yeah, not for Taskikuri, but like for other stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
But like it's knowledge and it helps.
Yeah, no, that's true. For me,
Hmm.
shipping's a nightmare, especially for overseas shipping.
Yeah. Shoo.
Bless you.
Sorry. Sneeze.
Yeah. And do you have anything else you want to talk about?
And we could just like talk about like our favorite cartoons. Like I like earlier you were asking me for what was like the thing that got me into animation, and Gravity Falls was like the big one. But like I got into a lot of stuff back then. Like I've definitely talked to you about this one like back when I started first watching Kill la Kill,
Oh,
and it was like
yes.
my first introduction to. I've told you about this, yeah.
Yeah.
How it was my first introduction to Studio Trigger, and I was like hooked from there. Um, yeah, because I remember back when they first aired, when they first released Kill la Kill, they put that shit on Netflix immediately, and that was back when I still lived in Peru. I was like a little kid. I was just starting high school, and I remember I was on a trip, and I was just like on my iPad, and I was like just. I remember I think my parents had like left the hotel, and they had just left me alone, and I was just trying to figure out what to do because I was bored, and I saw the Kill la Kill thumbnail and I was like, what the hell is this? This is like weird. What is this? And I watched it and I was like, it's very strange. Let's continue. And I continued watching and I never stopped.
Yeah, Kill la Kill was airing at around the same time that I first got into animation school, actually.
That is crazy. I was still a little baba when that came out. That's so crazy to think about.
Imagine, like, you're in school with a bunch of animators and you're watching Kill la Kill. And you know what the worst part
That
about it
is
was?
crazy.
Not everyone was watching Kill
What?
la Kill. Everyone was just still stuck on Steven Universe. And I'm like, guys, look at this.
Damn.
And Space Dandy
That's
was
funny.
happening around the same time, too.
Oh my god, wait, Space Dandy. I didn't know that came out so close to Kill la Kill. I
Yeah,
freaking love Space Dandy.
and nobody was on Space Dandy. And I'm like, what the hell?
That sucks. I'm so sorry for your loss, dude. That's you bringing up Steven Universe now. It's like with like art school. It's like so freaking funny because you just awakened like this core memory for me. Because back in
Well,
freshman year
yeah.
SBA, we like the Steven Universe movie came out, and I remember I have like this core memory of my most of my freshman year class. We all gathered in the lobby of the dorms and we watched the Steven Universe movie all together. It was awesome.
Yeah.
You've awakened the memory.
The reason why, like, because we both went to SVA, and that's where Rebecca Sugar also went to school.
Yeah, that's where Rebecca Sugar went to school.
Also Vivzy Pop, for
Also
like,
Vipsy Pop.
so like, SVA has been getting, like, some big name animator like students, alumni.
Yeah.
coming through.
No, that whole thing is like so crazy to me, because I remember back in freshman year. I'm pretty sure I've told you this before, but like my one of my animation mentors, who was my freshman year animation teacher at SVA, Mario, he was also Vipsy Pop's mentor, and he always talks about her. And back in freshman year, SVA was also the year when the Has Been Hotel pilot came out. And he was like, first you should like email Vipsy Pop and she'll give you a job and you'll be able to learn from her. She was one of my best students. And I was like, man, I'm not gonna do that. It's like crazy. I'm like a little baba. I'm never gonna get hired in this show. And then all these years later, I ended up working on a Has Been Hotel. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah. I got a bunch of friends that also work on Vivsy's work on Hell of a Boss and also Has Been Hotel.
Yeah. Also, like a lot of because Vipsy also went to SVA and lived in New York. A lot of the New York animators, like a lot of animators in this area, were people that worked on the original Has Been pilot.
Yeah.
And that's also like really fun to like find about, because like you'll be talking to someone and they'll be like, yeah, I was on the pilot.
Yeah, no, I know a few of those people. It's very it's very funny how the world just like is like, whoa, okay, this place is small.
It's so small. It's so small when you like really realize it. Because I've been meeting people that have been working on like some of my favorite shows or some of my favorite stuff. Like a few like last month I was in LA for the Has Been premiere, and I met some of like some really cool artists that I had like that have worked on some of my favorite shows, and that was very awesome, very special. Once you like get into like the whole animation thing, like seriously, like you realize how freaking small the world is, because like the people that they have like running all the cool like productions is like more is very likely just gonna be like the same 20 dudes on Twitter that are just like rotating around different projects. And it's so funny to like realize that, because then like I don't know, it's just because all this like production, like film production stuff, is so super mystified when like from the outside, but then when you're inside you realize how like simple it is. Like it's not simple, but it's much less mystic than it like originally like lets you know.
Yeah, it's
I don't know how to really explain it.
Well, it's like from the outside looking in, you're like mystified. You're like, I have no idea how any of this could happen or work, or like what causes organization. But then like once you start like doing it and working with different people or different projects or different productions, you start learning like, oh, this is how like people work together. This is like how the pipeline gets handled.
Yeah, it's crazy to like do that, because like when you're an animation student and you get like that dream email reply of like you've been accepted into whatever production like role you like applied for, and you get your first gig, that's when you really dip your toes in, and a lot of those realizations come in, and I think that's really special.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
For me, it was around when I was interning.
And
then like that internship helped me a lot for figuring out like, hey, this is how like you organize your files, and like work one shot at a time instead of like putting every single thing in like one file and that type of stuff.
Yeah,
and
like that's also kind of how it worked for me, because like I like for my very first gig I kind of hit the ground running, because I remember back then I didn't really like know how to get like stuff done. But then, like, I remember my supervisor back then, like, sat my ass down, and she's like, okay, this is how you use Toon Boom, this is how you do this is how you do that. And I learned how to do everything there. And then I just kind of, like, kept going. Because, like, I've definitely told you the story before as well, but, like, back when I ever did my first ever gig ever, I got it as an animator. I was animating on a show. And back then I hated animating. I remember like getting into our school at SBA, and I was like, actually, this animation stuff sucks. I want to be a character designer. Like, little baby didn't know that character design is like the hardest job to get in the industry right now.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to be a character designer.
Everyone wants to draw a character.
Everyone wants to draw the character design. Everyone wants to be Shun Kim. But yeah, I entered school like that, and I was like, I hate animating. But then I like got my first ever gig. I hit the ground running, and I was like, I had like a little eureka moment of like being like, hey, actually, this doesn't suck nearly as much as I thought it did. Like it sucks, but like it's kind of fun also. And then ever since then, the rest is history, and I just like kept on animating.
Yeah, for me, it's always like, I wish I had infinite time.
Yeah, I always think of like what I would do if I had like a little like my like I always think like my top two superpowers that I always think about I think about having. One of them is the ability to create portals anywhere and like teleport anywhere wherever I want instantly.
Uh-huh.
And the other one would be to have a little pocket universe I can enter at any given time, and no time doesn't like pass, time doesn't move on in there. Like you stay frozen in time, and you can spend as long as you need to doing anything in there, and then you come out and no time has passed in the real world.
Yeah, the hyperbolic
like,
time
yeah.
chamber from Dragon Ball Z.
The hyperbolic time chamber. Yes, I love saying that. It's so awesome.
Yeah, I always talk about that with my friends. I'm just like, yo, if I had this right now, and I could just go in there and just come out and like give the world a film.
Yeah,
it would be so hype.
I would do it too. I love saying like whenever I fall asleep without like knowing, or like I'm late to something, I always tell my friends like, yeah, sorry, I fell into the hyperbolic time chamber. So awesome. I love saying that. You know, that superpower would be so useful. It would be so freaking useful.
I love how we think about superpowers in terms of like what would be good for like, you know, getting animation done. For me, it's Naruto's shadow clone jutsu.
Really?
You
would just clone yourself?
Yes, if I could have a whole team of me working on a project, oh my god.
If I had a whole team of me, we'd like end up tearing each other's throats off. Like I don't think that would work for me.
Dang.
Yeah. No, I would
I'm just
much
like,
rather like time.
Because I don't gotta teach myself my process, you know?
Yeah.
I can be like, okay, you do this role, you do this, you do this. You're the background Gens. This is like what you do.
Your background Gens, your cleanup Gens, your
Yeah.
animation Gens. So awesome. But yeah, that's like another thing to think about. Oh.
And me, the original Gens, I write the stuff. You guys do all the work.
Slave, go at me now! It's like the web sound.
No, but like if it worked like Naruto shadow clones, because like in Naruto, like he's able to like get all the information from his shadow clones. So whatever they learn, he's able to learn too.
Oh, I see. See, I'm thinking of this like more in like a regular clone situation.
Yeah.
Like if it were like a regular clone situation, like my clones would like they would stage a coup and they would take over and they would like exile me or something, I feel.
Like that one episode from like Gravity Falls, since you're talking about Gravity
Yeah,
Falls.
like exactly. I was just thinking about that episode.
The
That's
Dipper
one of my
clones.
favorite ones.
Yeah, it was a very
the
funny
Dipper
one.
clones. That one's awesome. But yeah, no, that's kind of like how I feel my clone situation would go.
Yeah, shout out to clone number 2. You're a real one.
Yeah. Clone number 2, yes! Dude. And I'm trying to think of like other stuff that like really inspired me. Oh, you'll definitely know this one, like Twilight Princess.
Oh yeah.
That was like another big inspiration for me. It's like I'm a big Zelda head. And I got into Zelda because of Twilight Princess, because back in Peru, my cousin, like, you know, everyone, you know how you always have like that one cousin that like gets everything that you want to get, and you're like super jealous of them.
Yeah, I feel
you're
that.
like, and you go over to like their house to like play on their Wii and like their DS and shit. Like, she was that cousin, and she got a Wii, and she got Twilight Princess on it because she was like one of those kids like, okay, I just want a Wii and I want like the most popular games on it, and they got Smash and like Wii Sports Resort and like Twilight Princess. And I played Twilight Princess for the first time, and I remember like as soon as I go home, I would be like, I was begging my dad for a Wii.
Oh, yeah.
And I eventually was able to get a Wii a couple of years afterwards, and I got Twilight Princess, and I played the shit out of that game, and I still remember that game super fondly. I'm waiting, Nintendo, for the day you will port Twilight Princess onto the Switch. Because I literally, Gans, I did not lie to you. I've literally had dreams of being able to play Twilight Princess on my Switch on like the plane. I will just be on the plane playing Twilight Princess on my Switch. I want it so bad. I've had actual dreams about this.
Well, maybe when the Switch 2 comes out.
Maybe people have been saying it's gonna come out. Like, where do people hear this? Like, where did it come out from?
I usually hear from my other friends that like are more keen on like video game rumors. And
yeah, no, same for me.
I trust them and like how they're able to like get their sources. I wouldn't be able to like point my sources out immediately. And even if I were able to like figure out my sources, I'm pretty sure they would get like sniped by Nintendo if I reveal that information. So like, you know what? There's that.
No, you're right. They better port Twilight Princess onto that Switch. I am not buying the Switch 2 until they put a Zelda game on it.
Yeah.
Like I've already said how growing up I was really into video games. Like I had my DS and everything, and I had my Mario in there. And obviously I had Zelda, but like nowadays I only really care about Zelda. Like if you were to ask me about like literally any other video game, I'd be like, I don't gaff. I'm just here for Zelda. Like the only reason way back when the Switch came out, I got it on day one was because Breath of the Wild was a day one Switch game. If it had not been for that game, I would have not gotten that Switch.
Yeah, that's wild.
I only got it because I could play Zelda on it. And I'm sure like if they do that with the Switch too, I'm gonna have to fold as well, because like I cannot say no to my boy Link. Like I gotta play that Zelda game day one. I'm just like that. I fucking love Zelda. Like I do not care about any video game unless it's Zelda. I only care about Zelda. Only have eyes for my precious.
I feel that we all got our favorites.
Yeah.
For me, they still haven't made another Beautiful Joe, and I cry. But they're not even porting Beautiful Joe, man. Oh, whatever. I'm not gonna get into this.
I've never even heard of that.
Beautiful Joe.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Sorry. It was a game on the GameCube and PS2 about a little red man who has a pink scarf. And he can fast forward time and slow down time, and it's like a movie, because it's like literally the point of Beautiful Joe is like he's a character that gets whisked away inside a movie screen, and then he goes into the movie world, and then he gets movie powers. And
that's awesome.
The powers of slowing down time, speeding up time, and in like some of the sequels he gets the ability to like zoom in, zoom out, cut, and all that stuff. It's really cool. It's like
that's awesome.
And the game was made by a film nerd too, Hideki Kamiya.
Nice.
And he also likes the same type of stuff I like, so it's just like, whoa.
Match made in heaven.
Yeah, it's so fun. Anyways, but there's no way to buy it like legally, so
you can't buy it. That sucks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean I have the games, so I'm happy. But like for anybody that wants to get them, it's just like you're stuck. Capcom's never gonna get them out again, ever. But yeah. Let's move on to the questions.
Ooh.
For tonight. Alright, so let me check it out. I don't think we had much coming our way.
Yeah, there's not much.
Yeah, okay. The person that did ask the question asked a lot of questions though, so we're gonna be getting through them. Let me just like
okay.
Oh, please, where is it? Here it is. Alright. Pastel Fire at Frailbulb on Twitter asks, how's y'all day going? So, how's your day, Percy?
My day was pretty good. I woke up, I worked out, I went to get groceries, made food, and now I'm here on the radio show.
Working out, getting gains!
Working out, getting gains. Yeah, you know it.
Keith would be very happy. I said before the show to shout out Keith. I gotta shout Keith out Keith. Right now. Keith Garces on Newgrounds. Him and his brother Spagato on Newgrounds, aka Zach, work on Rushdown Rivals on Newgrounds, which is like a brawler type game. Like it's like Smash Brothers, essentially, but with a lot of like arcade elements to it
Newgrounds
too.
characters.
Yeah, it has a bunch of Newgrounds characters too, and like people online. Me, the host right now in Radio Graffiti, is an assist trophy in Rushdown Rivals. So go give it a check out. Go all the way down in the Newgrounds website, and you'll find it.
I think Keith is like adding one of my guys into like his game as well.
Whoa.
I don't know. I think I like told him to like add the little dragon. Yeah.
But yeah,
maybe
go check it out. Keith and Zach are working on it constantly. They're also going to be working on new stuff in the future, so please keep an eye out. It's all really
go
cool
check out their stuff.
But yeah,
check out Keith's stuff and Zach's.
That's a quick shout out to Keith. But the only reason I mentioned it because you said you were working out, and like, you know, Keith is now like a huge like workout guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
he's so awesome.
Keith is awesome. Also, again, shout out to Taskikuri. Sorry, Pastel, I got distracted with your question. To talk about Keith, I need to let people know about Keith and his work.
Okay. What's the next question?
Next question is, what's your favorite and least favorite food?
Okay. The least favorite food is pretty easy, but favorite food kind of hard.
All right.
Least favorite food, red sauce spaghetti. Hate this stuff. I do not like it. Red sauce
spaghetti. Like
I do not like it.
So you don't like tomato sauce?
I don't like. I'm okay with tomato sauce, like on pizza, but like I don't know why. The combination of it and the pasta, like with the spaghetti, is just absolutely atrocious for me. I cannot even smell it. Like sometimes I'll get a whiff out of it and I gotta leave the room. Like it's really bad. And I'm a bit of a foodie. Like I'm from Peru. I like eat all sorts of things. This is like the one thing I cannot eat though. Like anytime like I'm anywhere and they like serve pasta, I'm like, I'm sorry. I need to leave. I need to go. I'm never like this. I hate wasting food. I normally am down to eat like weird foods that like people normally not eat. I'm normally down to eat that too, but spaghetti, that's where I draw the line. That's it for me.
Is it specifically specifically spaghetti, like you just don't like spaghetti period? Or
I don't like spaghetti with red sauce. You can give me spaghetti with like white sauce, like Alfredo sauce. That bangs. It's so good. But you give me with like tomato sauce, You need to like I need to leave the room. I'm wearing a hazmat suit in there.
Wow,
it's really bad.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. Wow. Okay. Good to know.
And then my favorite food, it's kind of complicated because I like a lot of foods. I like most foods. But I think
feel that.
In order to like nail it down to like closer to like a food kind of like group, I really like fish. I love seafood. I love raw fish. I love me like some salmon, some tuna. I love making shrimp. I love making lobster. It's so freaking good.
Oh, what's your favorite? What's your favorite fish to eat? If you could say.
Ooh, it depends on the way it has to be cooked. Like if let's say I'm eating ceviche, I prefer that stuff with corvina. I don't know how you say that in English, but it's corvina. It's a type of fish. My dad makes it with that. And then like if I'm having salmon, then I prefer it raw. If I'm having a poke bowl, I will either want tuna or salmon, but like it really depends on my mood, you know? I'm down to like interchange stuff.
For me, my seafood addiction is octopus. Like I love.
Ooh, octopus is really good, dude. You need to go to Peru. Like you can try some pulpo a la parrilla with salsa al olivo. So freaking good, so good.
Pulpa de parrilla? What?
No, I'll write it down in chat.
Okay.
Actually, I'll leave it to you. It's like grilled octopus, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I come from like the Mediterranean, so it's just like octopus is just like easily, readily available, and that was my favorite thing to eat when I was a kid.
So good.
And it's still stuck as like one of my. I think it is my favorite meat to eat. Just period.
Yeah, no, I really like pulpo, like pulpo octopus. I really like octopus.
Yeah.
Like grilled, it's really good. I also sometimes raw, it's really good as well. I don't know.
It depends. It depends on where you get it.
Yeah, you know, there's like in Peru, like some restaurants they will make you ceviche but mixed in with seafood, and they will mix in octopus meat with that, and it's so freaking good. You would love that stuff. You would go crazy for
Yeah.
that. It's so good. Um, yeah, like most of my favorite foods are just Peruvian foods. Like I love papa rellena. I love ají de gallina. I love arroz con mariscos, ceviche. I love all that stuff. That's like that's it for me. Sushi. Oh, Peruvian sushi. So I'm not even gonna talk about it because I'm just
Oh,
gonna go on
shrimp
tangents.
ceviche. I'm
So
just
freaking
looking at
good.
like pictures right now, and I'm like, huh.
Yeah, they also put shrimp in there. Yeah,
All right, sounds pretty dang good.
so good.
But yeah, next question is going to be. Let me read. Hold up a second. For Fercy, do you have other things you're good at that aren't art related? All right.
Mm. I I could answer that question with a lot of things, but the thing for me is that like even if I'm like really good at doing something that is completely unrelated to art, I will somehow like find a way to mix it in with art or make it art. Like I'm like one of the things I'm really good at is I love cooking, but I see cooking more of like as an art rather than as an activity. Like if I cook when I'm in a bad mood, it's gonna taste like shit. It's not like just the same way as if like if I'm animating and my heart is not in it, it's gonna look like shit. Same with
Yeah,
cooking.
I agree. No.
I'm trying to think of another thing though. What am I good at that isn't art? That one's hard because I relate everything back to art really on the day to day. I guess I don't know. I have pretty good aim. I like going shooting. I used to do a lot of archery when I was a kid, and then my grandpa he was like one of those competitive shooters like athletes, and
Oh,
so I would
cool.
go
That's
to my
badass.
grandpa's.
Whoa.
I would go to my grandpa's backyard, and he would like lend me his guns, and he like taught me how to
Gunslinger.
like shoot my way.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was like a little baba. And then recently, like while I was at home, my dad bought like a proper like long range gun, and we've been practicing, and it's so fun. I love it. Kind of sucks that I cannot like really do that much often, but because like it's just like a whole like it's like a whole thing. But it's still something I love to do when I'm able to, just because like it reminds me of my grandpa.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm trying to think what else. Hmm.
I mean, archery
I don't
counts. I
know.
would say archery counts.
Yeah. Well, that and like I guess like sports in general. Like I don't really like I was talking before of like my that like having an active lifestyle, but I don't really get to talk about that often.
Oh, I
Right
remember something.
now,
I remember something. You said you
oh,
used to do
oh,
horseback riding.
I did used to do horseback riding. Yes. Back when I was in between like the middle school high school era was my horse riding time, and I started horse riding, and I just didn't stop. I had to stop in high school. I got into a really bad horse riding accident actually, and that's eventually why I stopped horse riding. I tore my thigh muscle. Cause I what happened was that the horse got like spooked and just ran against one of like the fence poles that are like made of pure wood, and he like stopped right in front of like the pole, and I got flung out of the saddle, and I went like full force against the like wood fence pole thing that was like super big, and my leg hit it full force, and just like destroyed my thigh muscle, and I was like recovering for that for like a really long time, and then like after I recovered, I just like we weren't able to pick it back up again. I got too busy with high school.
Yeah.
But that was something I did for many years, and I even thought at some point in my life I even thought that was gonna be my life because it's something I really enjoyed. I still really like horse riding. I once again it's one of those activities you can't really do frequently, especially in a place like this. You can't really just go out and decide that you want to go horse riding that day. That's not something that happens. You need a lot of things for that.
Just
So I don't really
just
get to do it often.
just go to
Yeah.
LA, go to the Burbank area right next to Disney. They have a horse ranch there. Steal one of their horses and ride away.
That's what I've been saying. I want to do that so freaking bad. I really want to go horse riding in LA. Maybe I'll do that next time I'm there. But yeah, I used to do horse riding, and that's a thing I thought was gonna be my life. But then I got into an accident, and that didn't happen. I remember for a time I was even going to like competitions and shit, and I was like next in line to like get my own horse and like actually start competing seriously in nationals and stuff. But then life didn't turn out that way, and I didn't become an athlete. But alternate universe FERCI became a horse riding athlete, and I was pretty fucking good at it.
Yeah.
But that was the thing I did, and then just like sports. I also used to do tennis a lot. Back in middle school, I was pretty good at that as well. I did tennis. I did ping pong. I did archery. Also, I did that competitively. Archery. I went to competitions for that.
Nice.
And then I back in Peru, I used to go surfing. I actually started surfing while I was in high school because the school I went to was really close to the beach, and we even had like teachers, like my homeroom teacher would like arrive super wet like every morning because he had just gone surfing with like the other teachers in school that used to go surfing.
That's
and
hilarious.
Eventually I got
yeah.
roped into it. Yeah. Eventually I got roped into it because a few other students from my class also went surfing, and I got taken with them. And I did that for a while before I went over to college in the States. But I would go surfing every weekend, and it was freaking awesome because Peru is just so nice for surfing. And it's also another activity that I want to start doing again more frequently, but it's just like, once again, it's really hard to do in a place like this. But yeah, it's also something that I could do in LA, and if I ever do go over there, I really want to like invest and get my own surfboard and actually start doing it frequently again.
Go to Australia. Go surfing in Australia. They have a bunch of places.
That is the other option. That's the other like nuclear option. I might be going to Australia soon just to like hang out, check it out. I don't know.
Hey,
I would love to.
that's when I first started to learn how to surfboard. Was back in Australia.
In Australia?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dangerous though. Like they got like the creatures in there like crawling under sand. Like,
No, the beaches
dangerous.
are alright.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember like what was the actual area like within. It was on.
Was it like Sydney?
No. It was Eastern Australia by. Yeah, it started with an M. I'm trying to remember. Whatever. It's not Melbourne. It was like off the northeast coast of Australia. Let me look at Australia's map right now. I'm sorry, Australians, for not knowing your land.
I only Australia for me is like Melbourne and Sydney because that's where all my friends are.
Yeah, that's where most people are.
That's where all the homies are. That's where the boys are.
Mackay. Yeah, okay. It's all the way like up north. Yeah, that's where I was at when I was in Australia.
I see.
And they had like a neat like surfing area around there.
Yeah, I've heard that Australia also has really nice surfing like sections. I don't know, like here they don't have much of that, and in Peru it's also just like another country with a really big surfing culture. And especially the beach I would go to, it was like that they had like this whole strip dedicated just for like surfing, and they just had surfers in that area, no swimmers, and it was super nice. I learned a lot back then.
I'm surprised that Peru had like a big. I mean, it makes sense that Peru would, because like, you know, it's off the coast.
Yeah, a lot of people go to Peru for like surfing, for surfing purposes. It's really popular.
You know, that makes sense. I wonder if people in Chile also surf. Not sure.
I wonder too. I think it gets. I don't know if it gets too cold there or not. For like, I know people in New York also surf, but like Chile gets really freaking cold. They're like they're right by Antarctica. Like they're the closest ones to it. It gets really freaking cold in there.
Yeah, that's like all the way down south. But like, you know, there's a part of Chile that's like right by like close to Peru. So.
Yeah, it's right below Peru. Yeah.
Does it get cold there too?
Peru doesn't get nearly as cold as Chile.
Yeah. Interesting.
Like it like compared to like the Northeast, the US Northeast, it gets a lot less cold than it gets over here. Yeah.
Interesting. Oh yeah, and then the final question is, have you ever had imposter syndrome?
Oh, for me?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. All the freaking time. I don't think there's a single artist that has like not had imposter syndrome.
Unless they're like
It's
super
really
narcissistic or something like that.
Unless
like,
they're super narcissistic, and if they are, they probably like are not really good at what they do. and they're probably an asshole and nobody likes them.
Hey, I've worked with some of those professionally, and they get work. So I'm like,
Yeah,
oh.
it sucks to see. It really does. But
Yeah.
yeah. Imposter syndrome is like one of like the bigger issues that one faces as an artist that I've seen is super common amongst artists. I'm talking about like someone from the perspective of like someone that went to college for art, and like I got to see this in a lot of my my classmates and a lot of my friends even now. It's just a really big issue amongst artists in general, like not only art students or college students or whatever. It's just like overall just something that happens, and unfortunately it also happens to me. Like I've definitely felt the imposter syndrome. I'm trying to think. I think last year, like when the around the time the film, I first presented Learning to Float to like people. I definitely felt it then because I've said this a lot of times, but I made Learning to Float not for anyone else but for me, like for my very niche specific experience and feelings and emotions regarding that. And I wasn't really expecting people to like it, and then people did, and I was like, damn, I definitely, I don't know if it was like exactly imposter syndrome, but it was very much of like I didn't know this was going to happen. I don't know if I like deserve this kind of deal.
I feel that.
Like, mm,
That's definitely the thing. I mean, I remember when I first launched my first Kickstarter, I was like, I don't even think I'm gonna make 5,000 off of this. So like that was like my big goal. Like when I was like putting it up, and then like I blew past that like really fast within like the first few hours. I was like, whoa, holy hell.
yeah, no, like for me, I posted Learning to Float, and I wasn't really expecting much of it. I was like, it'll get a couple of views. I'm posting it so like people can see the real version. Cause like what happened with Learning to Float was that I was because originally I posted the film almost a year ago now around May, shortly after the thesis showing at SVA. Because what happened during the thesis showing is that SVA fucked up the version of the film that the version of my film that they had to show at the
Yep.
live stream. And I have been hyping up the live stream for a little bit, and so I had a lot of people there, and they saw the wrong version of the film, and I was like super upset about it. So I decided to say fuck it, and I posted the right, and I really wanted people to see the right version of the film. So I posted the right version of the film on YouTube, and that's why it was up last year and for like a limited amount of time. And then I took it down, and then I re-uploaded it like a few months ago, and it's been up since then. And that's why that happened. And I wasn't really that was the main reason why I posted it, and I was like I wasn't really expecting it to get a lot of views, and then it got enough views to monetize my YouTube channel. So I was like, oh, okay. Like my friends, my YouTuber friends were like messaging me like, you're like doing the monetization thing right, and I was like asking for tips and advice to my friends that had YouTube channels because I had no idea what I was doing. It's very, very new for me. I was not expecting the film to blow up the way it did, but very grateful for it. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, no, I'd say that's pretty good. That answers that question pretty well. Let me just do another double check to see if we have any more. But yeah, I mean, imposter syndrome is always gonna like hit every now and then, but like it usually doesn't last that long.
Yeah, it doesn't last that long.
Especially when you're busy. I think especially for people that are busy, you just don't have time to think.
Yeah, you like your brain is already thinking about like your next deadline. You don't have time to think of like, am I good enough for this? Like, no, you have work to do.
I'm
Go,
like, oh no,
go work.
It's like I gotta get this done. I can't be waiting.
Yeah, literally no. That's really much it.
I
Like
think, yeah.
I often find myself just working very long hours at a time, just cause like I love working and like it makes me feel normal. I don't know. It's like but I also once again think that's like very common.
Yeah.
I love working.
I think for anybody that's struggling with imposter syndrome, the advice that I'd give is just work on stuff. Just make something. Like
give yourself something to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause usually art block and imposter syndrome and all these other like issues that artists tend to face and burnout Well, burnouts is separate, but like the other ones, it usually can be solved by just having something to do. Because when you're alone with your thoughts don't like
That's
you.
the most dangerous.
Your brain
That's
doesn't
super
like
dangerous.
you.
Don't do that.
Your brain will do whatever it can to be like, you know what, you suck actually. You don't deserve anything. So just keep making stuff, and then it'll go away.
Yeah. But something just like to always keep in mind is just like, don't compare yourself to other people. Like, don't make a habit of it, because that's like, whenever I think of imposter syndrome, comparing myself to other people is like often the thing that eventually leads to imposter syndrome happening. And that's something I used to do a lot, especially as like once again, I'm not American, and I was very much like the foreigner when I came to the States here and to study animation. Especially because like animation is a very much like, at least in an American college, it's obviously gonna be like very American led, but it's very kind of like jumps out to you like once you really get into it, just how American it all is. Like I very much was out like a fish out of water when I came here, and I was definitely feeling it, you know, like it's something that happens, and I was comparing myself a lot to other people because I couldn't come up with like the same type of ideas the Americans did. I didn't think the same way they did. I didn't think I didn't I was really struggling finding common ground with a lot of my classmates because of it. But that was just like because I was trying to like I was comparing myself a lot to them. I was just like very much out of my comfort zone. But once I settled in much more, it just like all these feelings went away because I realized these people were just like me in the end.
Yeah, no, everyone's trying to get stuff done, so
yeah,
that's how it works. I've just been like okay, as we were talking this whole time, like I was looking at like Australia, and then I was like moving off into like the rest of the Pacific Ocean and looking at islands and trying to find restaurants in those islands. And I've just been like looking at the dinner menus.
You've been looking at Google Maps.
Yeah, I've been looking at Google Maps and like looking at like the dinner menus over there for like these random restaurants and like random islands and like whatever reviews people leave there. And I'm looking at like French fries with like fish sashimi.
And oh, that sounds so good.
And I'm like,
so good.
Whoa, what's happening here? Like in the French Polynesia Islands. And I'm like, there's restaurant Hoa Nui, and I'm like, whoa, what's happening here? What do you guys serve there? And I'm just like looking at their dinner items and like photos that people take, and it's just very funny. This is what I do usually whenever I'm stuck, like whenever I'm talking with people about like maps and different parts of the world. I start like exploring, and I'm like, let's. You go
on Street View and you drop a little guy there.
Yeah, no, I just hunt for restaurants in like random islands. And I'm like, what restaurant can I find here? Sorry, like that I said that out of nowhere, but like it's just very.
No,
fun.
dude, you're good. Like we're talking about things we've been doing while we're talking. I'm just like doodling my little guys.
Yeah.
I got Clip Studio going on right now. Like as we're talking, I'm just doodling on my little canvas.
Yeah, I have that open in the background because there was a commission that I was like working on before the show started. Anyways.
Yeah, I was also working commissions.
Time for the end of the show, everybody. Since this is what we're talking about. Just a quick shout out again. Toskikuri, you guys got 40 minutes to take advantage of this 10% off deal.
Oh yeah, you got 40 minutes to take advantage of the 10% off deal.
So
go for it.
Go to toskikuri.com. That is TASKIQURI. Toskikuri. Buy a shirt. They're really cool shirts. They're silk screen printed. Every shirt is unique. Customized to you. It's just like the Wario apparition from Mario 64.
It really is.
But you won't get haunted.
Shirts
at least I'm sure. But yeah.
I promise I won't haunt you. My family won't haunt you till the end of the years. That won't happen. I promise.
And this has been episode 23. This has been FERCI. Please check FERCI out on Twitter at Neath. That is, I need to spell that out because like it has 2 I's in it.
Yes, yeah.
You can find FERCI on Twitter at NEIITH525 on Twitter.com. You can attempt typing Fercy, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be difficult. But just type @Neith, NEIITH525. And
Yep.
she's also on YouTube. Just type Fercy on YouTube and you'll find her. Or just type Learning to Float on YouTube and it'll be the first thing.
You can find Learning to Float and some of my other animation up on my YouTube right now. And if you just want to check out my normal art, my regular non-moving stuff, you can also just go on my Twitter or any of my other social medias.
Yeah. And again, the website, buy a shirt. For people on YouTube, I'm sorry, the deal's off. Like, you don't get 10%, but you do get a cool shirt. You can still go buy it.
You
get a cool shirt.
You'll have my eternal love and gratification for buying any of my stuff. Ever, forever, and always.
I recommend the Tigre shirt.
It's favorite one.
Go
it's
and get it.
the most popular one.
Make it sell out immediately. Anyways. This has been Radio Graffiti, everybody. This has been Fercy. Thank you for coming on the show, Fercy.
Thank you for having me, Gans. Bye, y'all.
All right. Adios, everybody. Peace out.
Ciao, ciao.